All right, we just finished our introductory part one of our trigger. We just created the holes in the square. Now we're going to start assembling it so we can start actually making the trigger and the wheel and the pins work together. So we'll go new, pick assembly, and I'm going to call this rubber band launcher test assembly. Take off the default template check so we make sure we're working in millimeters. And we are. Then we hit OK. And we get a little bit different dashboard. Remember, we got ASM front, ASM top, assembly right. So we'll go to our assembly button because we've set our working directory. And I don't have the large pin template in there yet, so I have to go find that. I'll be right back. All right, we're back after a short delay. Now we should be able to go to assembly, find our rubber band template large pin. We'll open that. And as always with an assembly, we just set that first piece down. And it has no constraints. The computer doesn't know where it is in the world. So we'll hold the right mouse button down for a second and go fix constraint. And now the computer puts this into the world that it knows where everything is on it. I'm going to shut off my datum planes except for my axis display. So I hit the select all to take everything off and then hit my axis display to show my center lines of my holes. So we'll hit the green check because we like where that's placed. Now we'll go in and we'll bring in the rubber band launching wheel, I call it. And that's how the rubber bands stay on there, and we'll put that down. Now we got to start placing some constraints on it. So we want the center of this pin and the center of the circle to line up. So we line those up. And it seems easier to set everything as a distance. The computer seems to work with that better, so I'm going to leave that as a distance. I want this flat surface of my pin template to line up with the flat back of my wheel. And that sometimes goes to coincident. So let's change that to a distance as well, because the computer will work with that better. Makes it easier for us. So we'll change the first one that we just set, the centers of our circles, and we'll change that to 0, and it snaps it right into place. So you'll see that now we have the ability to actually rotate this wheel on our pin. We don't have it fully constrained, it's only partially constrained, and that's what we want. So we'll hit the green check, and we will bring in our trigger that we just started. So we'll bring that in, and we'll start lining things up on that. So we just set it down. We want to line up this center hole here, the center of this hole, with the center of this pin right there. And it goes to a distance, that's good. We want the surface again of that to line up with this surface, and it does, and it's set it to a distance, which is good. We don't have to change that. We'll change that distance to 0. Go back to our first distance, that's this one, and change that to 0, and that puts it in there. And now we are able to partially constrain it. We didn't set one on this one because we want to be able to move this trigger mechanism like we're pulling the trigger on the rubber band. So that's how we set up the initial 3 parts of our rubber band launcher. Hit the green check and hit save.